Welcome to Our Future is Kind, a podcast exploring how we build the future we want to live in, one kind act at a time. I'm your host, Michael Neese, president of Our Future is Kind, and your companion in conversations about kindness, leadership, connection, and courage. Each week, I sit down with thoughtful leaders, creators, and bridge builders to explore what a healthier, more humane future could look like, and the choices it takes to build it. These are honest conversations about purpose, culture, curiosity, and what it really means to show up for one another at work, in our communities, and in everyday life. Along the way, we'll unearth practical ideas, small but meaningful acts, and questions worth sitting with, because building what's next is a choice. So let's dive in. Beth Robins is a transformational speaker, certified life coach, and author of children's and adults books. She helps people of all ages rediscover their courage, purpose, and joy. Through the Carpe Diem Seize the Day with a Smile movement, she shares books, workshops, and tools to help you live a life you truly love, and because life is just too precious to play small. So Beth Robins, welcome to the program.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much, Michael. I'm so thrilled to be here.
Well, I'm very excited to have our conversation here in a moment, but I just introduced you. I would love for you to tell this audience what really makes you, you.
Ooh, that's a deep question. What makes me, me is stepping into the truth of who am I? You know, I've had some chapters in my life. I started off on Broadway, and then I kind of veered into being a personal trainer because I wanted to be a full-time mom as well. And then that was all great. And then I retired, and then I was like, oh my gosh, who am I now? And so it's really like picking through the woods. Who have I always been? What makes me me, right? So it's identifying that I'm somebody who gets up every morning annoyingly grateful. You know, the first things I'm doing is being grateful for people, places, and things in my life. But now I've kind of escalated that to being grateful for just having this day to seize. And as you mentioned, I'm the heart and soul behind the Seize the Day with a Smile movement. And there's something that I would love to share maybe a little later where the smile part comes in. But seizing the day and really getting in touch with what that means personally. And for me, I get to choose. I wake up every day with a choice and a chance. I get to choose, okay, today looks a little rough around the edges, so I get to choose courage, or I get to choose kindness, or I get to choose more love, more forgiveness, more understanding, more compassion, patience. You know, sometimes we get to choose, I'm going to seize the day with patience. And knowing that by choosing that, I have a chance to impact the way my day goes. So I'm seizing the day rather than letting the day seize me. And I have a chance to let that resonate personally, but then also to ripple effect to anybody I might bump into in the day. And that's really the essence of who I am, is that annoyingly grateful woman who wakes up sincerely grateful for this day. And I didn't start out that way. We go through the chapters in our life where we wake up like, oh, it's Monday, or, oh, I have that dental thing I got to do today, or I got to get the kids ready to go here and go there, and I can't wait till they're old enough to drive. And then it's like, whoa, then we get to that point like, slow down, you know? And it's then when you have all those seasons in your life and you allow yourself the permission to just pause and breathe and go, what's the truth? What's the truth here of who I am? Am I this frenetic person who's running around and ticking off the days like they're, you know, like, okay, yay, it's March 1st, or oh, yay, it's Christmas, or whatever. It's waking up every day with just, I get today, and being grateful for that.
The attitude that you bring to everything that you do, that I've seen online and from the conversations that we've had before, it really feels like you are in the moment so often. And I think a lot of people these days struggle with that. How do you stay centered in the moment?
By realizing that it's a gift. That moment, this moment I get to share with you is a gift. And there is no other place that I need to be, that I would choose to be, than right now, right here, sharing this conversation with you. And realizing that then the moment that I'm going to go do something else today, that's a moment I get to have. And so I can, as I was saying before, there were seasons in my life where I was rushing through. And now I've developed, I've grown up into this person who really is present because I'm grateful for this time.
Well, I think gratitude is really important. The harder thing for people, though, can be where they're looking for silver linings, because gratitudes are easy to find when things are going well, when you've had a fairly blessed life, or when you've had a really great season where things just seem to be going your way. And finding those gratitudes, it's easy to pluck them out of the air and say, I'm grateful for my family, and I'm grateful for the taste of strawberries, and I'm grateful for the sunshine. But when there are things not going well, reaching for those silver linings can be so essential. Do you find that that's something that you also reach for, is to think about what's good in this moment that objectively looks not so good?
I call it mining for gold nuggets. And, and that goes back to the grateful. We all have challenges, and sometimes those challenges are dark nights of the soul where the rug got pulled out from under us. We got hit upside by a baseball bat, and you're like laying there like a bug, upside down going, what just happened? And what happened to my other life? Or, like 5 minutes ago, everything was great, and now everything is horrible. And it's having the discipline to understand that life isn't happening to you. It is happening for you. And even in those dark moments, when you can pause and breathe, generate state, and realize that there is a power breathing you far greater than your circumstance or the situation you're sitting in, and being grateful for that, and that then you can sit there and I'm not going to be grateful that this horrible thing just happened, but I could be grateful for the taste of strawberries. I could be grateful that yesterday was amazing, and I could be grateful that I know that I have everything I need to get through this. This is just a moment in my It could be a chapter, but it's not the whole book. And I wish I would have said that originally, but somebody did, and they were brilliant. And really, it's understanding that, I used to hate it when my mom would say, oh, this too shall pass. It's like, no, it's never going to pass. It's always going to be horrible. The worst thing that happened is Johnny broke up with me, and I feel horrible and dejected. And it's like, well, this too did pass. Many more Johnnies came along, and life be life, and it's really it's challenging to be grateful when life feels like it's sucky, but it's life. You still have it. You're still breathing. There are things to find gratitude for. And I think that if you can discipline yourself to go, this is happening, but I'm still breathing. I still have this. I still have that. I know I have a power within me to get through it, and being cognizant of that. And it's not just words that, I'm saying to annoy somebody, like, you'll get through this, because I just know you will. And the point is, you need to come to that understanding of knowing that the truth is you are far more powerful than you sometimes give yourself credit for.
I think sometimes our human brains, we forget that there are parts of our brains that don't understand the passage of time. They're just dwelling in their little emotional space, and it feels like elation will go on forever. It feels like the depths of grieving and despair will go on forever, because that part of your brain just doesn't get time. It just has no idea. So yeah, what you say really resonates with me, because there are moments where I can get really sidetracked into something, and having to take that step back and remember, oh, right, this is a season. This is not forever. It's really helpful.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I have thought about in anticipation of talking to you is that so many parts of your career, your many multiple things that you have done in your life, it feels like you have given back. You have presented something to the world. You have helped people. I mean, whether you were, on Broadway and, in that milieu, and you were presenting things to the world to absorb and love, or now it's books and helping others. Can you just tell me what drives you? Because it feels like there's this theme of, I'm going to help humans. I'm going to do good things for humanity.
That's very sweet of you to say. I don't know what drives me, other than that is an innate trait that I have, almost to a fault. There was just recently me realizing what's the difference between I genuinely want to help people, and I've always been that way since I was a little girl, since I can remember. The difference between that and what I am a recovering people pleaser. And choosing the fact that, taking this moment where I could come in and help somebody, or I want to offer, I'm a life coach. I do it because I know the way through the dark tunnel. I was in the tunnel and I found a secret way out. And I really genuinely want to help you go through there. But then there's the people please. There was a season of my life where I was the first one to volunteer to do the awful job of the whatever. I was always bending over backward to make sure everybody was happy, to the dumbest part where, there's a group of people going out to dinner and everybody wants to go eat something that I don't want to eat. I'm like, yeah, that sounds great. Because I don't want them to think less of me. Okay, that's a silly thing, right?
Yeah.
But that's not helping, and it's certainly not helping me. So now that I'm a grown-up almost, I can see the patterns in my life where, I was making those choices to go along, to get along. I rarely quarreled with my husband. I just went along to get along. And I think because it didn't matter so much to me, whether we had sushi or tacos or whatever it was, but I think knowing the difference of people please disease and genuinely wanting to help people and that innate, that is the truth of me. I really just want to see people thrive. And, my whole life as I've been a coach. And, there was a season of it where it was more fitness and nutrition based because I just wanted everybody to unlock the secret of what wellness feels like. Like, why wouldn't you want to feel as good as I do, or be as fit as I do? So I want to help you. I'm going to give you everything I have to get you to be healthier, to think healthier, to whatever. But then we transform that into now as a life coach. And this is the whole life. And I'm so exuberantly excited about it. And the fact that changes that I've been able to make in myself as I'm making that grown up path, that's really, it's just what I want to do because I know the secret and I want you to have it. I don't want to keep it to myself.
So how, if somebody followed you around these days, how do you feel you're getting? Yeah. I'm sure they would. But how are you helping people these days? You're a life coach. You have the Seize the Day with a Smile movement. Tell us about those different activities.
So there's a three-parter to that. I'm a motivational speaker. So I love to get up there, grab the mic, and share tools that people can walk out of that seminar or that workshop or that wherever they are and go, oh, wow. I can do this. I can do that. I got 3 things lined up. I'm ready to go. So doing that and be able to say, here you go, take it, be able to share that and to maybe just turn on a couple more lights of, oh, wow, I feel different. I feel more expansive now. So I love to do that. I wrote 7 books last year, 6 of them under the Seize the Day with a Smile concept. 5 of them for kids, and I wrote for kids that are 4th grade through 8th grade. And this is teaching them that when they wake up in the morning, and they've got a scary math test, or there's some bullying going on, or some cliquey stuff going on, or soccer tryouts, and all their friends are great at soccer, and they're not feeling so great. The things that they want to worry about are they're mad at mom and dad, like, they did something. They get to wake up and not carry that with them that day. They get to choose leadership. They get to choose courage. They get to choose kindness. They get to choose love. They get to choose just putting on a smile. And that's seizing the day with those things and giving them that, oh, wow, I do get a choice. And when I make that choice, I do feel better. My day actually goes along a little bit better. And just teaching those tools to that age group. And then I wrote one for the grown-ups. Same ideas. It's a self-helpy kind of book with some stories from my past. I share it all. It's vulnerable, but you get to see me as I'm just like you. I went through some stuff and I got some coaching for me and I still have my coaches and I'm elevated. I just knew I wanted to be here, right? And I was spinning around like a hamster here. And I identified for myself, I was carrying along a victim story like it was a big old travel suitcase, you know? And it was like, nice to meet you. You want to hear all the things that happened to me? Let me tell you what happened. Well, and so I was clinging to that as like my identity, but I don't so desperately wanted to go here. Well, you got to let go so you can go here. And finally somebody put a flashlight on and said, let go. It's not who you are anymore. So that was so great. So that's when this started to snowball roll into, this is a movement, and it is a seize the day with a smile movement. You know, I'm doing podcasting with that. I created a 24-hour showcase where people get to come on and share what their idea of seize the day is. So not only is this about me, because it's not, this is about having 100 other voices come on and say, I'm choosing to seize the day, and this is how I'm doing it, and you can do it too. Come on, join the movement, because my goal, my mission is to reach, I used to say 1 million, I'm going for 100 million souls, and I have voices coming in from Africa, Australia, New Zealand, Paris, Germany, UK, like all over the world, South America, Indonesia. I'm just super excited that it's starting to create this, oh wow, I want to be part of that. I want to share my voice. I want to embrace the seize the day lifestyle too. And why not? Well, that's what I'm doing. And you might be able to tell I'm a little bit excited about it.
As well you should be. Yeah, the idea of really treasuring the moments that you have and being able to set aside the boundaries that would keep you from treasuring them, from seeing them, from appreciating what you've got in front of you. When people are having a hard time, processing is a really big piece of this. And I'm going to ask you to put on your coaching hat for just a moment. Anybody who's listening in or tuned into this podcast right now is probably thinking, you know, how do I do that? Because I want to seize the day, but there are moments where I'm so deep into an emotional state, or I'm so deep into that, like you said, carrying that luggage around and saying, oh, woe is me, this is really hard. It's really hard sometimes to set that aside. How do you advise people to process enough that they can let go of that luggage?
I think it's one baby step at a time. And the first very step is noticing what you're noticing. Because if we don't notice that we're carrying something around, we can't let go of it. So when you can, it's as simple as noticing how you feel right now, noticing your heartbeat, noticing your breath, but then going into noticing your thoughts, because we have tens of thousands of them a day. And if we're women, we have closer to 1 million. But sure. 95% of those thoughts are running on a subconscious loop. And that loop is sort of, I liken it to a hiking trail. You know, it's been there forever, and we stay on that path, and we really want to think different thoughts, but we're on the path, right? So first we have to notice we're on this path. We have to identify that, ooh, this isn't feeling good. And when you're not feeling good, that's your subconscious going ding dong, ding dong. It's because it's not the truth. And we have to pause and notice it. Okay, something feels off. I'm noticing what I'm noticing. I'm now noticing my thoughts. And when we have a thought, there's a feeling wrapped around it. Happy, sad, depressed, excited, whatever, based on that thought, subconscious or conscious. That thought and that feeling tone will direct what action or inaction we take. So if we want to take an action, like really want to let go of this victim story, but it's scary. So now my thoughts are, this is scary. This is outside of my comfort zone because I'm so used to this, and this is scary. So we might go back and curl under the covers again. We choose inaction, or we take that step. We take that next step. We raise our hand and say, I know this is not where I want to be, and I know this is where I want to be, but I need a little help. I need a little help to bridge that gap. That's an action step. So when you take your thoughts, the feeling tone, and an action or inaction, now we have a result. So if we didn't take action, our results are we're still in the hamster wheel. We're still stuck. If we take the action, we have a different result. If we're choosing to ask, something's wrong, not sure what it is, maybe I need to get a little help here. We raise your hand, you take that action step, or whatever it is. Maybe you just read a book, or you get out and go for a walk, or whatever that is going to elevate the mood at the time. But that's really, it's called the results formula. And it starts when people look at the results they're having with their life, they go to the land of because. I call it because land. No, I am having these results because I don't have the money. I don't have time. I don't have the proper education. I don't have any friends that can help me. I don't know anybody else who's done this, or because, right? And that's the excuses, and that is condition-based thinking. So that's when they identify, well, I'm having these results because I am a victim of XYZ, or I am having these results because this is the situation I was born into, or whatever. That is results formula. So you look at results that you're having in your life right now, whether you want to admit it, you can trace them back to what you've been thinking, either consciously or subconsciously. But that's the loop. And before you can get and create a new path to bridge up here, you have to stop, pause, and notice what you're noticing about what's going on with you.
Yeah. Well, sometimes, this program is all about kindness.
I love that.
And part of kindness in my mind and in the minds of a lot of people I've spoken with, kindness requires truth. It requires an awful lot of honesty. And sometimes that's hard. Sometimes it's really difficult to say the thing or believe the thing or confront yourself with some reflections that don't feel great. Like, I have been thinking this thought for years that's held me back. Oh, oof. Now that I've admitted that, which is kind, now I actually have to do something about it. Can you tell me how you think about kindness, when it's kindness to self or kindness to others? How do you frame that in your experiences?
Well, what you just described is kindness to yourself. I think the kindest thing that you can do is to notice what you're noticing and be kind and reverent to the fact that you are who you are where you are, and you're doing the best with what you have from where you are. And just being okay with that, sit in that and be kind to the fact that you are a spiritual being having a human experience. And that's it. It doesn't get much more challenging than that. Just go, okay, I'm having a human experience. But I'm a spiritual being wearing this human suit. Being kind is, is it hard to admit things about ourselves? I think we put that because that's our ego saying, I'm less than. Shame on me. I made a mistake. Hello.
Right.
You're a human. So being kind and saying, okay, that's okay. Now I see what's going on. Hooray. And I'm afraid. Oh my goodness, that's actually the good news. Good news is when, I'm acknowledging this, I got this thing going on, and I'm gonna do the do. I'm gonna make some changes in my life. Yay. Ooh, wait, it's scary. Yay. Because now you're going, oh wow. And I always say like your fear that comes in, like fear imposter syndrome or fear of failure or whatever we have, that's just your little subconscious thermostat going, ooh, it's getting a little hot in here. Right. Come back down to what we're used to. Remember, we like this hamster wheel of being stuck? And wait, why are you taking these action steps? Now it's getting scary. Well, when we feel that fear, like, okay, I've made a decision. I'm going to seize the day. I'm going to make some changes. I'm going to up-level some things in my life. And the fear starts going, wait, no. You can say, okay, fear, I want to shake your hand. I want to thank you. Thank you for being here, keeping me safe. But I'm going to go ahead and do this thing anyway, because I know that everything that I've ever wanted is on the other side of you. And I'm going to do it because I'm worth it, because my life is worth it. I'm going to be kind to myself and give myself these opportunities. That's really what is it. And then when you are kind to yourself, and you can take ego aside, ego and fear like to hang out. They're like BFFs. And you know the opposite of both of those? Love. Love. So loving myself enough to go, you've had some life experiences, and you're ready to up-level that life, because you get this one life, and you get to have a life you truly are madly in love with. Isn't that amazing? And so when we're whole there and we take our ego out and we take the fear out, it's so much easier to be kind to self and be kind to everybody in our orbit.
I love your treatment of fear. I really do. I think it's such a great way of looking at it. As you were talking, it occurred to me that you're using the word fear almost the way that most of us would use the word thrilling.
Ooh.
Isn't this a thrilling moment as opposed to, my gosh, this is a scary moment? But I love the way that you talk about it, because I think you just taught me something just now that, like, if I befriend the fear, it becomes thrill. And
I love that. And you know, they kind of run on the same frequency. Being nervous about something and being excited kind of bubble here. And, you know, we're both speakers. You get on stage. If you're not having a little bit of butterflies, then I don't know if you're alive. But, you know, but if you could go, oh, no, I'm not nervous. I'm excited. I can't wait for these people to hear what I have to say.
Look at all these people I can help right now. Yeah.
Right? Exactly.
Love it. I love it. Where did you get the bug for writing? Where'd you get that excitement about writing?
Well, it started with, you know how we always say, one day I'm going to write a book.
Yeah.
And I've threatened so many clients, like so many funny stories. Oh, this is going in the book, or this is going in the book. But then, you know, I was invited. My very first writing was Jim Britt. And I don't know if you're familiar with Jim, but he and his partner with Jim Rohn.
Right.
You know, their big claim to fame is finding Tony Robbins and creating Tony Robbins. But he's always been a dear friend and a mentor. And I think 24 hours after I met him, he called me on the phone. He says, I have an idea for a book series and I'd love for you to be an author. I was not having a clue where it was going or what it was going to do. I just said, okay, all right.
Okay.
So I wrote. And, you know, I enjoyed being a writer in high school, college. I was musical theater mainly, but I loved writing. And so I wrote that, and that was really fun. And then I didn't really do a whole lot with it until after my mom passed away. It was kind of ruminating that I would love to write something about her. And then I was on a phone call with Les Brown, and he said, tell me about your mom. And I thought, well, that was weird. You know, like, why does he want to know about my mom? And he said, actually, don't tell me. Just give me 6 adjectives that would describe your mom. So I came up with them, and he says, okay, hang on. About a minute goes by. He comes on, and for 10 minutes gave a talk about making your life a beautiful story, life lessons I learned from my mother. And he created this talk about my mom. Never having met her. My mom she passed away 6 years ago. So at the time, I was like, whoa, that was amazing. He says, I want you to write that same speech. I want it to be an hour, and I want it to be, make your life a beautiful story, life lessons I learned from my mother. Now, this was kind of his idea of my mindset. So he goes, I need it Monday, and it's Wednesday, 4th of July. And I was like, okay, cancel plans. I'm now writing a talk. When Les Brown asks you to do that, you
immediately do it. Yes.
You kind of change your calendar. So I did it, and I recorded it, but it was just sort of like me reading what I wrote, you know. Right. And he says, great, that's your speech. He sent it off to his people. And then he says, you know what? This is your book. I go, my book? He goes, you need to write this book. So bug number 2. So it started with Jim Britt and then Les Brown. Les Brown says you should write a book. You write a book. And I did. And I took the speech and I made it into a book. And that was my first published book. Now, I went back on to Jim Britt's mastermind and said, hi, I'm back. And, oh, by the way, I wrote a book and don't know really what to do with it. And Dr. Ken Rochon came on and said, I want you on my podcast. I said, okay. We had a meeting for the podcast. He says, oh, wait, you wrote a book? I'm a publisher. It's about your mom. I got into publishing because of my mom. We realized we had this connection, a heart-centered connection. And that was the beginning. He flew out to hear me do a talk. And he wanted to promote me and promote the book. And it was all around the time the book was coming out. And we were having breakfast. The first time we were actually sitting across face to face. And he says, there's more books in you. And I feel, I don't know why, but carpe diem, seize the day. is your thing. And I was sitting there going, since I was 15, Carpe Diem has been my mantra. I would sign things, Carpe Diem, Beth, in your yearbook or whatever, because I was a Latin scholar at the time. When my mom passed, a week later, I got my one and only tattoo of Carpe Diem. Now, he had not seen this tattoo. I'm wearing long sleeves. So the fact, and the Carpe Diem wasn't my idea. I went into a tattoo place to get a feather because that correlated with my mom. And the guy came out because he was going to draw the feather and see if I approved it. And he came out and he says, hey, I added this phrase. I just learned about it. And just in talking to you, I feel like this belongs with you. And it was Carpe Diem. And it was way bigger than I was going to get. And I just stuck my hand out and don't do it. So that all came about with that. And Dr. Ken Roshan saying, you should write a book about Carpe Diem, seize the day with a smile. I said, yes. And then he said, but wait, there's more. I think you need to do children's books. And last year, between March and October, I wrote those 6 extra books and they poured out of me. So when you say, I'm going to write a book someday, I have no idea how or where it's going to come from. None of that matters. And that's the whole thing about your life. Like, I really want to work in Paris one day, or I really want to open this amazing business idea I had, or I really want to do this God-sized dream, but I don't know how. That how part destroys every dream. It doesn't matter how. You don't need to know the how. All you need to know is the what and the why and who you get to become in the process. That's what I do. I'm a dream weaver. I help them. That's the gap. I really want to do that. If that idea came in your head, so did everything you need to make it come true. And that is the truth.
You feel like a genuine visionary to me, that you are able to grab hold of these ideas that somebody might say to you in passing, but you make them real. You're able to say, oh my gosh, that really fits. And here's how I make it mine. And here's how it really is important to me and the memory of my mother and how I lead my life. And it's so exciting. So we can find you on Amazon, I am sure.
Yes. And it's Beth Robins with the 1B, and all the books are there. Yes.
So cool. It's very cool. Well, wonderful. If it's okay with you, I'd like to shift gears just a little bit.
Please, yes.
Okay. And I want to take you into a thought experiment with me.
Okay.
We're going to hop into a time machine. And you and me, Beth Robins, Michael Neese, we're hopping into this time machine. We're going 100 years into the future. And as I'm moving all the controls, I say, Beth, we did all the right things. We did all the right things. Everything is the best that it could possibly be. And we're going to step out of those doors in a second, and you're going to see it's the best future. And we do. We step outside of the time machine. What are you looking for that confirms that I was telling you the truth? How do you know that we did all the right things? What does the future look like?
Wow. So I do time machine in my coaching, but I only go 3 years. You have a much faster machine.
I like to really look ahead, flying cars and all that.
So, well, and it's 100 years and we have done everything perfectly. For me, how do I know? It's a feeling. The feeling that I have when I open the doors from your time machine is excitement, like a child on Christmas morning, that I am so excited to be there. And I just want to taste all the food. And I'm not sure. We must be on another planet, I think.
Could be.
And I want to see all the things. I know that we've done everything right because we are not thinking about the past, that we are fully able to be present, and that everything that has lined up, all the dreams and hopes that I personally carried 100 years ago, everything has come true. And if I'm standing there and I close my eyes, I'm smelling the smells, perfect coffee percolating right nearby, and I'm surrounded by people I adore, and vice versa. I have the best view. I'm on a mountaintop, yet I can clearly see the ocean. I can smell the ocean breeze. I have a roaring fire in the fireplace going, and I have a a fun yellow lab at my side. And I'm in love, and I'm in love with my life. I'm just excited. I'm excited to see what that day is going to bring on this new planet 100 years from now. And everything is all worked out. I think it's not what do I see or what has happened, it's what do I feel. And I want to know what it feels like for you. Tell me about when you open those doors. What do you see, feel, taste?
Gosh, when I step outside of those doors, I am looking for people. I adore people. I think people are the best things. I mean, we're in this vast cosmos, and we're lucky to have all of the smells and the tastes and the music and the dancing, and we are lucky to have all of the art forms and all of the technical scientific discoveries as well. All of those are great. But we are even luckier to have people with us on all of that journey. And so that's what I would be looking for is people. And for me, I look around and there aren't homeless people. And there aren't people who are uncared for or uncared about. Everybody has the ability to go and be purpose-filled, but also very happy and joy-filled. It's not rush, 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 check mark, check mark, check mark. It is more, what do we get to do today? What do we get to invent today? What do we get to experience today? So for me, that's what my ideal future would also have.
I love that you're looking for people, but you're also looking for positive change in the world that you have, that you're surrounded with today. And that's a beautiful, beautiful way to look at that. I love that.
Yeah. Well, the whole objective of our future is kind. It's the idea of envisioning what that future should look like. And so now I'm going to ask you the even harder question, which I'm sure you're going to have great answers for this. I already know. But I told you as I was operating the equipment, we did all the right things. Beth Robins, what are all those right things?
On a personal level or a global level?
All of it, anything.
Okay, because there's only so many things that I can control.
Sure.
And actually there's only one thing, and that is my actions and my reactions and managing my thoughts. And I think that, you were saying, what are the things that I did? What were the right things that I did? I think that the most right thing I did was to maintain my alignment with my true self. And not being pulled or swayed or allowing ego to drive or fear to drive, that I stayed truly aligned and understanding really what that is and what that feels like for me personally. So that's what I can control. That's what I did right. I stayed in that powerful place of alignment where I'm choosing things that feel expansive rather than constrictive, making choices every day that make me feel alive, that make me get the goosebumps. We're confronted with choices. We're bombarded with choices daily. And really, it's sort of try them on like a sweater. Ooh, this doesn't fit. For me, retirement didn't fit. I had to get rid of it. And I had to put on a big old jacket of, we are going bold, right? But I made that because it felt aligned. In my alignment, my mission is spreading this seize the day with a smile, spreading kindness, sharing kindness, doing kindness. Be, do, have kindness. So that ripple effect, if I can lead and live by that example, that my desire is that the people in my orbit adopt it as well. And the ripple effect continues on, so that I hope it's not 100 years from today. I hope that we can stop for coffee at maybe 4 years and open those doors and go, wow, look what we did. Look what we shared and what we collectively, the world, created through kindness, through love, through understanding, through grace.
Well, for everybody who's tuned in, Beth Robins just gave you permission to own your power to affect the future and make those ripples. So think about how you're going to do it, because she wants to get out of the time machine in 4 years. Right. So everybody get on it. So let me ask you, the world today, you turn on the news, it can feel hard. It can feel broken. Not everybody is kind. Not everybody is seizing the day. Some people are giving up their power. They're not seizing anything. They're just hiding. When the days feel like that a little for you, what do you do to reset yourself? How do you find your center? How do you get inspired again?
Many ways, but it starts with I don't watch the news.
Okay.
So, because I like to discover and discern that for myself and not be told what to think or believe. So I find that media-driven news is more that, where then it can feel heavy. I understand that it is not my weight to carry. So me reframing that is I am choosing to be the best human that I can be. And I'm going to reach for those higher feeling thoughts. So yes, could I look at the world from the lens of it's chaos, it's not what I would want, it's not how I would govern, it's not how I would do the XYZs? That isn't mine to carry today.
Right.
Take that deep breath and breathe out. And the more my job, if I have a job, is to continue being the best human that I can and inspire that in everybody else. I'm not choosing to watch the news, but it doesn't mean I'm burying my head in the sand and I don't know what's going on. No, I do know what's going on, but I'm going to choose to read and to, pick apart, ask people who are in the know to tell me the truth. And then understand that, again, it isn't mine to carry. Because I could walk around like this, like, oh my God, the sky is falling all day, and let that impact my day and my life. Or I can choose to just be me, to be the best me that I can be. And that's really, I'm diffusing the question as far as how do I get through that, but it's really that simple.
It's simple now that you say it out loud. I think for most of us, it's hard to have faith enough that we can simply focus on our own world and not carry around all of the baggage that's put in front of us. Because we are told, well, aren't you outraged about this? Aren't you sad about this? Aren't you angry? Aren't you distracted? And it sounds like you're giving us all permission to not pick those up.
Don't pick them up. Exactly. What is yours to carry today? What is it that I talk about, we could worry and wring our hands and get a stomachache about so many things, personally and globally. Yeah. But all you're going to do is get wrinkly hands. You're going to wear out your carpet and you're going to make yourself sick, physically sick, because you are choosing to carry the weight of the world. And again, it's not yours to carry. No. So faith in yourself, faith in humanity. It's okay to keep that, even though maybe what's glaring in your face or what is put on the news, because I will tell you, there is so much good happening in our world today. Look at the things that you're doing. Let's shine a light on the things that are good and right and well with our world. Wouldn't that be amazing to turn on the news and see that?
Absolutely.
Wouldn't that be amazing? I have a mentor and she says, if you don't like what you're seeing on the news, you don't want to watch whatever, then change the channel. Watch the Discovery Channel or tune into a podcast that lifts you up, that lights you up, that inspires you. Because the more of us that wake up and are inspired and choosing to be the best people that we can be, that's how we affect change in our world. We don't affect change by watching bad stuff. That doesn't change anything except make me feel bad.
Right. Through volunteerism or through charitable donations.
Oh my gosh, there's a million things you could do.
Right. By connecting with somebody else in your network that needs something that you can provide. You've now made the world slightly better in that one transaction, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Wonderful.
What you could do in 5 minutes is mind-blowing. If you could have a 5-minute power move that either moves the needle in your own life or can really impact somebody else's life. Something I love to do is, you could go through your phone and some of us have 10,000 names in there and just sort of scroll and then stop it and pick those 10 people and just reach out with a message. Hey, I was just thinking about you today. I hope you're having a great day. 10 people every day.
Okay.
Do that in less than 5 minutes.
I think that's our kindness challenge for the episode right now. So we'll put it in the show notes. But everybody, when you are not operating a motor vehicle or otherwise distracted with something, take that moment and look at your phone and spread that kindness.
Spread the kindness. Absolutely. Spread the love. Spread the joy. Spread your enthusiasm for life.
Absolutely. So, Beth, what is next for you? How can people connect with you, get into your orbit, support you, and see what you're up to? I mean, it sounds like people could really benefit from getting some of your services, whether you're on a big stage or you're helping coach them. How can people get you?
The best way to get me is on bethrobins.com. That's my website. And there's a Let's Connect button on there. That's really, I want to connect with his people. I want to connect with people. Maybe you want to just say hi, or you're just curious, like, I'm maybe feeling a little bit less than I would like to be feeling, and I would love to have a boost, some coaching. I'm creating a school platform, School SKOOL, where there's lots of fun stuff in there that people can interact, do some lessons, watch some videos, and grow. And as far as coaching, I do group coaching, which is what I love. I limit it to 5 people, and I'm very, very excited about that. The way that the people come together as a community and then also receive the coaching. And I do one-on-one as well. And I am on Instagram at Balanced Robin. And again, all the Robins are only spelled with 1 B. And all my books are on Amazon under the Beth Robins, or look up Seize the Day with a Smile and you'll find all of them. That's where I am. The adult book that I wrote is Carpe Diem, Seize the Day with a Smile. And that smile is something we all have within us, even though some days it's harder to pull out. I had a wake-up moment where I was really sad and down and caught up in my own victim story. And I was walking in the streets of Chicago, super cold. I'm kind of bundled up, looking down, and I bumped into somebody. And I did one of those, who's that? And he's really tall, and he's looking down at me, and he says, hey, why don't you smile? It might feel better. And he walked away. And I got indignant. Like, who does he think he is? He doesn't know this pain. He doesn't know what's going on in my head and how these horrible, rotten, no good things just happened to me. And so I decide to turn around and give him a piece of my mind, and there was nobody there. Not a soul on the street.
Wow.
And I realized that was my nudge from my higher power to say, hey, why don't you smile? It might feel better. And so that smile came from that deep place of knowing that, ooh, yeah, you're human, but you are also a spiritual being. And this too shall pass. Thanks, Mom. And that's really I had to choose to find that smile. And that's what seizing the day with a smile for me is all about.
Well, I'm sure you've brought tons of smiles to the audience today, hearing your wisdom and all the permissions that you gave us to put down the heavy stuff and to make our own lives better so that we can seize the day. Cool.
Yes. And as far as that permission slip, that's something you can write to yourself. You don't need it from me. I give myself permission to create a life I am madly in love with.
So beautiful. All right. Well, I think we were going to leave it there. Beth Robins, thank you for being on the program.
Michael, thank you so much for this opportunity to share this time and space with you and connect with your audience and really just spread the Seize the Day with a Smile movement message.
This episode's Kindness Challenge. Scroll through your phone contacts, pick 10 people, and send each a brief message. I was thinking about you today. Hope you're having a great day. Do this daily in under 5 minutes. Want to stay inspired so you can stay kind? Turn off news that weighs you down and deliberately replace it with content that lifts you up. Switch to documentaries, nature programming, or educational channels. Subscribe to podcasts that inspire and energize you. Seek out trusted people who can share grounded, truthful perspectives. You've been listening to Our Future is Kind podcast, where building what's next is a choice. Make your next choice a good one and help build the future we want to live in.